Facebook video for realtors. That is the goal of this session, is to really dive into this topic. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Maria, you can interrupt me and ask them. I think that would be the best kind of system that we can have. But first, a little introduction about me. So I am Megan Shallow. I own a company called B&L Media Consulting, and we do have a sub department of B&L called B&L Marketing Academy, which is where we do educate people how to manage their social media, how to build strategies, and do all the things in order to scale their businesses through these powerful tools. And so I've been in business for 5 years. I started out as a one woman show, and now I have a team of 15 staff members, and they continue to grow and they do wonderful work. And we have been scaling up our video content creation like crazy because of the rise of Instagram Reels and TikTok and even Facebook Reels and Facebook video. So that is where we are. And so we've become quite knowledgeable in this space, and I'm excited to share with all of you. I love the power of social media for realtors. I feel like there's a lot of magic to be had on these platforms and to connect with your community in a very unique way. And we love helping people when we can do that. So that is why I am here today. So for the first thing, the first thing that we're going to talk about is why video. Social media used to just be very photo static oriented, and all of a sudden there was a huge shift. Definitely the rise of YouTube caused that wave to move even further. And then after that, it just trickled down into all the other platforms. And so on Facebook specifically, in one day, over 8 billion videos are viewed. And I think this number is going to go up even more now that they have added the Reels section within the scrolling feed of Facebook. People are watching even more video, and they're getting a lot of views. Video is more personable and interactive. It's a great way to engage with your audience at a more deeper level. It builds trust and social proof. There is something about putting a video out there that makes people feel like they're in the moment with you, and that it increases the legitimacy of the work that you're doing. And also it does give you an opportunity to provide authentic value, entertainment, inspiration, and education. Oh, that's a cool edit. And education to others. And videos posts do receive 135% greater organic reach than photo posts. So there's something about video that has shifted where it gets engagement quicker, which when you do get engagement quicker, it actually propels the algorithm to trigger it to be like, oh, people like this content, they want to see more of it. So people are more likely to engage in a video piece than they are in a static photo. And part of me, just from a human psychology perspective, is they've already started clicking. Like they have to click to press play. With videos, there's always a call to action button, so they can click that. So there's a lot of opportunity to click when you're doing a video, whereas with post, it usually is just kind of a scroll and people are more focused on reading. Yeah, so video has been a game changer for a lot of businesses. There's great opportunities for real estate, and I will definitely going to brainstorm that. Oh, sorry, my computer froze. Brainstorm that in the upcoming slides. So places where you can post video on Facebook. There are 3 now. So you can post videos through Facebook posts. So your typical write a post, add a video, upload it, all of that good stuff. But then there also is in Facebook stories now, which are becoming more and more popular. And interestingly enough, my audience on Facebook engages with my stories more than my Instagram does. And that has been an interesting observation based on the different demographics that I have on both platforms. So I'm going to be talking about Facebook here, but a lot of it's going to be very similar to Instagram. So if that is a platform that you are wanting to dabble in, these concepts are going to be very much aligned with Instagram. It's just the logistics are a little bit different. So if you have questions about Instagram while we're here, happy to answer them as well. I love the platform too. So if that is something that you're wanting to learn more about, we can chat about that alongside Facebook. So first we'll go into Facebook posts. So with Facebook posts, you've got a few types of videos. You have the professional video footage that you can post. So if you in your marketing strategy as a realtor, if every listing that's above, let's say 1 mil gets a professional video done or a professional tour of some kind, that is something that you can post. And I would always recommend, not only because it'll get great reach and you can boost it and run an ad to it and it'll just look really polished, but also clients love seeing that. It makes them feel really taken care of, especially with the higher value properties. So you can post professional video footage. You can also post pre-recorded shots. This is something that you'll see more within the Reels section of Facebook and Instagram. People will, let's say, for example, a realtor will do a tour of a property, take a bunch of video footage with their iPhone on vertical. So when I say vertical, it's the thin, long video footage. And then they'll piece it together and turn it into a Reels, add some audio and those kinds of things, and turn it into kind of like a in the moment feel, but still there's some editing that's occurred. And then of course you've got live video, and Facebook lives perform extremely well. Again, I don't know why, but there are a few notifications that happen when you go live. So if you add in something within your strategy that is talking about like maybe you're going live every time you get a new listing, you go live with that listing, and that becomes a part of your strategy, and your audience expects to see that every single time you get a new listing. That could be an interesting opportunity, and your audience does get notified being like, let's say I'm a realtor, Megan Shallow, realtor of the Okanagan, is going live at like right now, click to join. And so that's why live videos can be really great. And it also is an awesome opportunity to engage with your audience in real time. Okay. Oh. So tips and tricks for Facebook video posts. There are a few. The first 3 to 4 seconds are the most important piece of any video, but especially on Facebook. You want to capture the person while they're scrolling. Facebook is a very scrollable platform. There's a lot of information that people digest in a very short amount of time. And so that's why you want to capture their attention really quickly. So for me, like a few potential ideas that I like to brainstorm, you can start the video out with a question to spark interest, makes people stop. And I definitely would encourage, as you're scrolling through your own social platforms, watch the ones that are going viral and how they're getting people like to stop and look. And also another one could be showcasing the most amazing parts of a house. So let's say you have a new listing and it has an amazing kitchen, like everything else is wonderful, but like there's something about the kitchen that stands out amongst the rest. I'd add that to the front of the line and then have everything else kind of follow suit. So the capturing of the attention is absolutely key. People are becoming very well known to having shorter and shorter attention spans. So you want to really make it catch their eye and make them stop. And so this is something that I love to play around with. I always look to the ones that are going viral. So in this case with realtors, the market research there, I would dive into, I would go into Instagram because it's easier to go find video content. Heading over into Instagram, seeing what kind of hooks they're using and getting some inspiration. And that will help you capture those people in the first 3 to 4 seconds. And if you're not overly confident in the speaking piece and you don't really want to show up on the camera to capture someone's attention, there is an opportunity to leverage the copywriting to your advantage too. So this is something that can get missed a lot, especially when doing video, and strong writing and captions can really help explain something about the video so that your audience knows what they're about to hit play on. So some people won't hit play if they don't know what's going to happen, because there are some times where people have clicked a video and it's like not what they expected, and it was really it was like not content that they wanted to digest. So if you can even prime them with what they're going to see in the video, that can really encourage more views, which will then encourage the algorithm to show it to more people. And you can even have a call to action, which leads to never forget a call to action. And I always recommend including a call to action both in the text as well as in the video itself. So you will see in the people in the industries that are doing really well is they'll always have a call to action in their post. So at the end, they'll be like, give me a call or send me a message if you have any questions about this property. And also you could add even your phone number in if you wanted to, if you felt comfortable. The more transparency, especially in the real estate industry, the better, because people are wanting to build trust with you and they want to connect with you as soon as possible. I have a few realtors as friends and we've worked with realtors a lot, and I have been informed that clients do really want to get a hold of you right now, of course with boundaries, but it is always good to let them know that they can get a hold of you and it's not going to be hard. So call to actions are really great in the text as well as in the video, and you can always add in text in a video through editing tools, which I'll give you a few recommendations, and that will definitely kind of allow the video to work its magic fully. So it's not just pure entertainment, but there is a purpose to it that will drive some marketing goals. So in order to optimize your Facebook video, there are a few guidelines to really hold on to and make sure that you're leveraging them. So horizontal or vertical video works really great on Facebook. Other platforms, I would say vertical video only. With Instagram, vertical is performing the best with Reels because it does flow right into the feed. So I would always recommend vertical video on Instagram versus horizontal. But on Facebook, horizontal, which is like the longer ones, which you'll get a lot of that with professional videography, it still works really well. And especially for ads, I love a good horizontal video for a paid ad campaign. And also, if possible, this is normally not something that I would say is necessary, but I have seen that it works on Facebook. And I thought it was a myth, but I've done it and it always works. It just posting organically within the app gets the optimal reach. Every other platform you could auto post and it would perform the same, but there's something about Facebook organic posts that get a lot more reach, especially if you are a realtor and you are posting on your personal page. And that's something that we can definitely discuss. So if you do have any questions around business page versus personal page, what should I use? I love talking about that. There's definitely pros and cons to both. But your personal page does get the most organic reach when you post it within the app. And also with the videos, ensuring video is clear and lighting is optimal. Daylight is the best. If you are filming yourself, then I would, and I'm speaking from personal experience, I always face a window and the daylight from outside gives you the perfect lighting that you need. You don't need to buy a ring light. You don't need to buy all of the gadgets and things that have come through the funnel. I mean, eventually you can, but it's more just about the lighting, and the daylight is perfect. We're in a great season for it. In the winter, it's a totally other ball game when it's dark so early. But if you have the opportunity to start practicing, just using a window, you don't need to buy a bunch of tools in order to start. And of course, strong copywriting that tells a story is a must to encourage readers to view the video. The copywriting says a lot about the video itself and then about you as a professional too. So this is something that I do recommend really honing in on for all posts. Video too, but for posts in general. And then of course, have fun and get creative. Video is fun. And every time I film a video, I feel lighter after. I feel like a kid a little bit. I don't know about all of you, but like when I was young, me and my sister used to always like film ourselves doing like Backstreet Boys dances and Spice Girls and stuff like that. And it just kind of brings me back to that a little bit of just that carefree energy. But there is always a block before I do it because would consider myself relatively shy in some ways. And when it comes to video performance, it was definitely a hurdle that I had to jump through as well. So if you have any questions around that, of how to get over that or how to move through that, I am a perfect example of being able to do that. So having fun. And if you aren't having fun on social media, people can tell. So I always recommend, if you don't love it, find someone who does, and the energy will come through and people will feel really warm and welcome. Okay. Next is Facebook stories. It's a hidden gem, Facebook stories, and not a lot of people use it. And that's why I want to tell you all, start using your Facebook stories. So why do we use it? When and why? So we use it because it is an underutilized tool on the Facebook platform. So you can get a lot more reach. This is both with personal and business, not a lot of businesses, like business pages, are using their stories, and also not a lot of personal people are. They're using them on Instagram, and sometimes they have it hooked up so it'll share over to Facebook, but they're not actively thinking about Facebook as the primary platform to be posting on. So using that tool and leveraging all of the cool like options that it provides can be a really great way to have your brand stand out on Facebook. It is also a great way to connect with your social audience on a personal level. This is something that I have noticed on Facebook, especially in the real estate industry. People, when they see a like a new listing or an opportunity, they feel inclined to literally send a message through the DMs. And there's something about DM, like direct message, personal message conversations, that deepen a connection with that person and will most likely turn into a lead when asked the right questions. And so the one-on-one dialogue, sometimes it's hard to get on social, especially through comments and stuff. So the stories have allowed businesses to connect with their customers or potential leads one-on-one but with them feeling like it's their choice. So you're not actively reaching out to them, they're seeing your stuff and then they're wanting to actively reach out to you, which is a great opportunity and the best way to get leads when they've chosen to connect with you. And of course, when to use. So sharing, every time you post something on Facebook, you do have the opportunity to share it to your stories. So you can share a post you'd like to get more reach on. So if it's a new listing, you can share that post to your stories and then write a little caption on there, and it'll get more reach because people will click in and go see it. Another reason would be when you need to pop on to let your audience know about a new market update, or any new updates really of what's going on, whether it's a new listing, maybe there's something going on with you that you want to share. Your business is growing, you have new team members, whatever that looks like. And then another one for Facebook stories is definitely capturing the moments. So the behind the scenes of a day in the life of a realtor is a great opportunity to use this feature, whether it's coffee meetings, lunch dates, going to a new listing, putting up a new sign, whatever that may look like. It is definitely, people love seeing that piece. And if you're supporting local businesses at the same time, then you can also connect them and tag them and have those connections and allow your content to go even further. And then of course, with the stories in the moment listing tours, it's another opportunity to showcase a client's listing, which makes them really happy to see that you're doing all this promotion for them. And people love watching tours of new real estate offerings. Everyone is kind of sitting back and looking, and they're wanting to see everything. And if you can be one of those realtors that they can come to and really look at that, that just increases their trust with you, and they can see what kind of listings you're getting. So for example, I'm a millennial. I'm looking maximum probably something at like around 500,000. So when I have a few realtors that I follow in my local area, and when I see listings that are around 500, I do click in and I start to look. So I know which realtors are carrying listings that I could potentially afford at some point in time within the next year and a half. It's a long road, but I have this one, like I have these realtors that I'm following and I'm just keeping an eye on it. And I'm learning a lot from them at the same time. So I know that when the time comes, if they post a listing that really feels aligned for me, I'll reach out to them and be like, hey, help me. So this is the reason why stories are so important, both on Facebook, and I'm going to reiterate, this is an extremely key piece on Instagram as well. Facebook and Instagram are the only two platforms that have this tool. So I would definitely use it on both if you can. And then Facebook and IG Reels, because I am going to talk about Instagram here. They're very similar. Reels are, the reason why Reels exists is because Facebook couldn't buy TikTok. So Facebook is now known as Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, and they try to buy everything up. So the reason why stories exist is because Instagram couldn't buy YouTube and they couldn't buy Snapchat. So these were reasons why they were losing their customers. They were losing a lot of consumers or users to Snapchat. And that's why they brought in the Instagram stories feature and the Facebook stories feature. And the same reason why Reels exists now is because TikTok has taken off into being one of the #1 social media platforms pretty sure it's the one that grew the fastest and continues to grow. And so they had to implement something, and that is why they created Reels. So Facebook Reels is, there's a few things that you want to really focus on. And you want to, the number one thing is being consistent and realistic. So Reels takes, I would say, 4 times as long to create compared to a post. And it also cannot be automated. So it is a very organic posting system. So as always, I want to remind people to be consistent and realistic. This is really important. Asking yourself, will you post a Reels once a week, twice a week, once a month? What feels realistic to you and where you're at in your business right now? If you're already feeling extremely busy, maybe 1 a month would be a good starting point, and then increasing it slowly over time, or having someone on your team assist you. And another thing to think about is, how are you going to create connection? So the more vulnerable and authentic you show up as yourself on social media, the deeper your audience becomes connected to you and your brand. We are seeing this in the realtor space. A lot of realtors are moving towards a very influencer approach, where they are showing up a lot more on their social media. This is the millennials are driving it, and the Gen Zs, I don't think they're quite there yet. Some of them are starting to get their realtor licenses, but these ones are definitely moving forward with the personal brand approach first. It's like, hey, this is me and this is what I do, and And it's like, the side note is, if you ever need real estate support, here I am. So they are showing up really vulnerably and authentic. And so that is something that Reels has allowed them to do in a very humorous and educational way. And always providing value, of course, whether it's through education, entertainment, or inspiration. All Reels must provide some sort of value, reaction from your audience. The goal of social media is to be social. And when we are social beings, we create emotions between each other, whether it's like we laugh together or we're like feeling like inspired together. There's always that connection piece that has to happen on social media. So you're not marketing to someone, you're trying to connect with someone through the same values, through the niche that you're within. So for me, like, I really use our social platform, our team uses our social platform to really connect with business owners and educate about social media, but also connect with like the struggles of social media as well, and like how that moves forward. So we have a few entertainment options. At BNL Social is our Instagram, and you can go find and see examples of how we do that. But we always try to elicit some sort of emotion from our audience.
So Megan, we have one question, and I think it's
Awesome.
important to bring it out. So yeah. What do you mean when you say organic?
Yeah. So can I get a context on that? Like organic posting?
Yeah, I guess they say that when you mean like by organic, I don't have like the complete information. I think when you mention like organic post or organic video or like the audience.
Yeah, I think if she, let me know if she answers. I think
organic posting.
Yeah, so organic posting is posting within the app. So going into your phone, uploading the video, writing the text within the post like section, and then clicking go. So for some reason on Facebook, that organic content that's not scheduled, but is just it feels on the fly. That is what seems to perform best on Facebook. And I don't know why, because it's not the same on Instagram. But for some reason on Facebook, it just gets a different kind of lift off. And I wish I knew the reasons. I hope that answers your question.
I think there are more questions coming. Am I gonna hold this one? I don't know if you want for the end of the session.
No, you can bring another one forward.
Okay. So the Reels, do you mean instant and funny videos?
Instant? Yes. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
No, Reels are usually thought through to a certain extent. So and we'll go through the process of how to kind of structure a Reels and what that looks like. Stories are instant. So the Instagram stories, they're instant types of posts. You're posting them on Instagram stories. They last 24 hours and then they're gone. So they can be really instant for that reason, because they just kind of are consistently coming through with new ones. Whereas with Reels, it's kind of like a mini professional videography session that's not professional. So there is some video editing required in them to like jump on a few trends, to align with what's happening in your niche and looking at what realtors are doing, and connecting and bringing it back to your brand and doing something that aligns with you, but it is still following a trend. So that's how TikTok has grown, is like it started with those dancing trends, which I like, as soon as I go over here, like there's a few right here that you can see. I'm not saying you have to do this, but these are the sounds and the types of videos and the types of visuals. There's certain types that people really appreciate. And it's a mixture, like even on this Trevor Bell on the right-hand side, he's got some that he's not a realtor, but he's got a few that are very entertainment focused, as you can see. But then he does have a few that he's like sitting in front of like a camera and talking. So a balance of entertaining ones, and then and some that are educational, and then maybe a few that are real estate listings would go really far with Reels. And you can do all of this with your phone. You do not have to hire a professional videographer for this segment of social media.
So I have another question. Where do I find stories and reels on the Facebook? I usually just do a post.
Yeah. So that is, if you land on Facebook, like facebook.com, you can add to your stories from directly from the landing page. So it's up at the top if you're working off your personal page. If you're working off a business page, it is a little bit more complex. So it would be something that I'd have to dive deeper into. But with your personal, you can add to your stories straight when you land on the front page of facebook.com. So up at the top, you can see all the stories, and then it'll be a create your own story up there. And also, if you're looking for reels, right now, the way that you have to create a reels is you have to scroll down slightly, and there'll be a bar and there'll be a bunch of reels there. And then there'll be a little button that says create your first reel. And so it'll allow you to do that there. So Facebook is not as user-friendly as Instagram. So whenever possible, if you are on Instagram as well, I would recommend posting your stories and your posts and things over on Instagram first, and then driving it over to Facebook, especially for stories and reels. But if you do feel like you want to post organically, there are ways. It's just a little bit more complicated for the logistics piece. But if you land on the front page, you will be able to find it.
Perfect. And then one more, and I hope like this is the last, just to continue with the presentation. Yeah. So what is an example of non-organic posting?
Yeah, so non-organic posting is using a third-party social media management tool. So that could be Buffer, Later.com, Hootsuite, Agorapulse, Sprout Social, any sort of third-party tool that allows you to schedule everything out beforehand, and then you can walk away and not really have to worry about it again.
Okay, I think that's all for now.
Okay.
So one thing. So Maria, can Megan share her opinion on my Facebook page personal? So maybe we can just keep that one for later.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think
you can continue.
And I can always, like, I do support in like social media audits, and having a discovery call if you wanted to dive deeper. That's definitely something that we can do at a later date. So for digital editing apps, so you will find as you get into this that it's not super clicking post and go. Like that's how social media used to be, and there's parts of me that wish it was still like that, but it just isn't our reality. So a lot of people do use outside tools to enhance their brand and how they show up on social media. So two that our team really love that are very user-friendly. We have Canva, of course. Canva, you can actually make reels in Canva. So that's a great opportunity to do editing within there. You can also choose Canva for your cover photos. So cover photos for Reels are quite important now. And so there's a lot of templates. So what I love about Canva is you can go in, you can search Reels in their search bar, and it'll give you a bunch of templates and video that content that you could start playing around with and create. So if you feel like you don't have much right now, but you want to start experimenting, Canva is a great place to go and start using some of their pre-made stuff. And of course, if you do have videos that you filmed, you can upload them into Canva as well. And you can just save everything as a video file, and it'll be good to upload for Reels. And then of course there's InShot, which I believe is free too. Canva and InShot are both free unless you choose to get business accounts. And this is a place where you can edit clips, you can add music, you can do voiceovers, you can really do everything in this app. And a lot of personal brands do use this app as they get more and more into the video creation process. Okay. So with Reels, I'm a huge fan of filming the Reels in Instagram if you can, only because it is more, they've spent a lot more money and time leveraging it and creating this tool, and the software is a little bit more in depth compared to Facebook, but they do both have very similar layouts. So this, what you see here is very similar on Facebook as well. And so when I'm going about choosing to film a Reels, if this feels like completely like brand new to you and a little bit overwhelming, do not worry. It is a normal feeling. And I am happy, like I feel like this is being recorded so you can watch it a few times. And I would definitely just recommend keep experimenting and you will get better with time. So before you even start filming anything when it comes to Reels, there's a few things that you have to consider. So first and foremost is the audio clip. Do you want audio? So if you are, say, posting a video that's 30, 60, or 90 seconds, I know you get 90 seconds on some, but 60 seems to be the max right now for most. You need to choose a song. Like if you're going to post a listing and there's no talking in it, you can choose an audio, and you always want to have audio because that's what helps the video trend. You can choose an audio that's really popular at the time. And there are ways to go about finding these pieces. And it's my huge recommendation is scrolling the Reels feed to go find different audios that feel aligned with what you're looking for. But that's the first step, asking yourself, do I need audio on this, or am I going to be speaking in it? Question number one. And then of course, establish the message you want to share. Is it going to be an inspirational one, an entertaining video, or an educational video? If it's inspiration, sometimes you'll see that people are even using stock video and then adding inspirational text to it. For entertainment, what could fall under entertainment could be even just a tour of a home, that's a beautiful home in your city. Another one could be a day in life, or like maybe you're exploring a local area, or maybe there's a festival or anything like that. You could do that like a day out in your town and selling, like being a promoter for why it's so great to live there. And educational could be very focused on market, like talking about the market, what's happening, is it up, if it's down, what kind of trends you're seeing, and you could be talking in front of the camera. For real estate, I would say educational is definitely talking in front of the camera. Entertainment can be in front of the camera, but there are ways to go around it where you don't have to be. And same with inspirational. So having a little bit of all three is amazing. But if there's one that feels more comfortable for you to start, I would start there. And then once you've decided what the message is going to be, then you're going to choose the length. So on the left-hand side, you can see that little circle, and that is going to tell you what length it is. When you open it up, it'll give you a choice. Do you want 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or 60 seconds? Usually I recommend either three are great. If you have a really long video, then choose up to 30 seconds, 60 seconds. But if it's short and sweet and educational and just straight to the point, 15 seconds is, I would say 15 seconds is perfect. Like I said, people's attention spans are not as long as they used to be. So if you're wanting them to digest information, making it short and sweet is really great. And then after that, you can choose the effect you want to use. They use the word effect, but a lot of it, it's their filters. And there's a lot of different ones out there. I just learned about another one where you can have an effect where it'll give you really cool captioning to your video. It's like closed captioning, but you can have different types of the way that it's outlined is really great. So going into the effects section and getting really familiar with that is wonderful. And then of course, choosing the speed you want. So usually I recommend keeping it one speed. If you're doing any videos other than voiceover. If you're doing voiceovers, which is kind of comedy skits and stuff, if you go to BNL speed, you will see some examples of that. I always choose the 2x speed. It makes it a lot easier to mimic someone's voice when you're trying to be that person. It kind of feels like doing a comedy skit. So the 2x speed just really helps with that. And then leveraging the power of the timer. So that's also there on the left-hand side. All of these things are your pre-filming checklist. I always use the timer because it gives you a good countdown before you start filming, which just allows for a little bit of wiggle room for error. So with all of this, with Reels, the best way to start if you've never even tried is to just go in and start clicking around. When you click next, when you see that next button, it's not going to post. So you have a few ways to go yet until it actually posts, but this is a great place to start. And once you feel confident, you can actually post something into the world and it'll be really fun and exciting to see. But if you just want to experiment, you can just make a bunch of drafts and never let them see the light of day if you don't want to, but at least you'll know this platform really well. So what happens next after this is, I realize I've missed this slide here. What happens after this is you get triggered to write a, what is the word? A caption. So captions are really key for Reels as well. They don't have to be as long, but they still need to provide value and cover all the things that we discussed prior. And then you'll get to add the hashtags. We will normally add the hashtags in the post itself. You can put them in the comments below as well, and that's totally fine if you're on Instagram. For Facebook, there's no hashtag game. If people do use hashtags on Facebook, I notice they're really broad, but Facebook doesn't really run on a hashtag model. So usually those hashtags are actually coming from Instagram. And what I would really recommend is using the emojis in your captions. It captures people's attention to read below. A lot of people don't think about reading the captions when it comes to Reels. So having an emoji with a sentence at the top just catches people's eyes before they scroll to the next video. And then you post or you save to draft if you feel like you're not ready. But all of this happens organically within the app. The only thing that you can do outside of the app is edit the videos first if you want to. If you are looking at doing voiceovers, I always recommend doing that in the app, but InShot also can allow you to do that if you can find the right audio. And it's a lot of fun once you get familiar with it. But first, my first guidance for everyone is to just start clicking around. I freaked out when I first saw this. I was like, not another thing that I have to learn on top of all the other things. But after I got really familiar with it, it was the funnest part of Instagram for me. And my team loves them too. And they love editing videos and they love putting them out there. And you can also use these for TikTok. If you're thinking about trying TikTok and you're not sure how, Reels is a great place to practice. And then you can move over to TikTok and go over there, and the tool will feel really familiar, but there's a lot more that TikTok tool can do. And so this is a great foundation to learn from. Now, before I move on, is there any other questions around Reels? Maria, just wanted to check.
Not related to Reels. There are another questions related to Facebook and Instagram, so you can go ahead.
Oh, okay. I can ask, well, okay, yeah, let's go there. Let's finish this. We're almost done. And then we'll open up the floor for questions. So posting options for video content. Like I mentioned, there's a few ways that you can do it. One, flying solo. So you can start this process all by yourself, and it's completely possible. I started my business by being the only person posting and writing on my social media. I look back now and I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I do this all by myself? But it worked. The consistency is key, and it's the consistency that aligns with you, not what the social media platforms say is the best. It is the rule of thumb now is quality over quantity when it comes to social media posting. Before, there used to be these huge rules. It was like you have to post 5 to 7 times a week, maybe even 10. And you have to engage every single day, and you have to do these things and like be super active all the time. Whereas now that mentality has kind of shifted. So it really is about focusing on the quality of content that you're putting out, making sure that the videos are really like thought through, making sure that the copywriting is very well written, and that you're optimizing the platforms the way that you're meant to, and engaging when it feels aligned for you. So flying solo is completely possible. It can feel overwhelming at times, but it is definitely something that I have seen a lot of realtors do to get the lift off that they need and the social proof that their audience is looking for. And then, of course, posting scheduling software, that is your next. It's kind of like your virtual assistant. There are many tools out there that can support inconsistent video posting and posting in general. The only things that cannot be automated through these pieces of software are stories and reels, but you can upload them and then automate, and then it'll trigger you to go into the app and then post it organically. So later.com is our favorite for automating posts. We have tried so many. We've interviewed Hootsuite. We've worked with Agorapulse. We've worked with Sprout Social. We've even tried Buffer, and none of them were able to be their softwares weren't able to be forward when it came to TikTok, Reels, and Stories. And so as we started helping clients with Instagram story rollouts and also Reel rollouts, later.com really just won. And they're the most affordable too, which is kind of cool. So I would definitely take a look at later.com if you've never checked them out before. I believe they have a Vancouver office. I can't remember if they're founded in Vancouver or out in San Francisco, but they do spend a lot of time out in the West Coast, and their software system is just, they're able to move a lot faster as social media changes. And I know Facebook is going to change again. They're looking at updating their platforms so that stories and reels are more active. So that is something that we are going to see moving forward because of the data that they've seen through TikTok and Instagram. And then, of course, hire a professional. If you're finding yourself saying, I don't have time to do the posting / I don't really want to do this, but I know I have to, but you do know that you could film the content. You just don't want to do the actual work that like all the writing and the posting and the editing. And then you can hire a professional team of social media managers. That's how my business started. We are a team of social media managers who spend our entire days on these platforms. That's where you can do the rest. Your team, the person that you're looking for, will even help populate ideas for you on a consistent basis. This is what BNL does. We have such a fun time doing it, and we've worked with many realtors, and the collaboration between social media manager and realtor, the relationship can feel a lot like an assistant because they are working really closely with you. So yeah, so that is that. We do offer 10% off all our services to Sutton Group Realtors and Brokerages. We've been working with Sutton Group for so long. We know the world, we know the brand, and we're so grateful for all of the opportunities that we get to have with Sutton Group and the support that we get from all the realtors. So that is definitely something that's in our wheelhouse to support you in any way. If you want an audit, or if you want to talk more about your business and like how you can optimize, we can definitely help with that. So that is all I've got. And now I'm ready for all the questions.
Thank you very much, Megan. So the first question that we have is there a way to contact Facebook support related to posting? I have turned on my Instagram connecting to Facebook, but it only posts on Instagram and not to Facebook.
Only post to Instagram and not to Facebook. Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. There's so many more people in here than there was when I opened up my screen. So yeah, Facebook support is, it feels like this enigma that's out there that everyone knows exists, but for some reason can't get a hold of. It's really tricky. There's a few things I'm going to read. Where is that? Contact Facebook posting. I have turned on my Instagram connecting to Facebook, but only post on my Instagram and not Facebook. Okay. We have had that issue in the past. Sometimes it requires a reconnect on your business manager. So if you're looking at it and it says it's posted on the front end, like it's connected on your front end of your business page, what I would recommend is going to business.facebook.com and ensuring that your business manager is all set up well. Usually that's where the issue lies, is in the business manager. And that goes for everyone on here. If I'm saying business manager and you're asking like, what is that? It means that you need to go check it out and make sure it's all hooked up properly. When Facebook started, Business Manager didn't exist, and now they've updated it and now it has to exist. So sometimes they'll auto create one for you, but then the admin access and all of that is a little bit wonky. So you'll want to go to business.facebook.com and make sure that's all set up properly. So I'm thinking that's where the issue lies. And hopefully that will fix it. And if you ever have any more questions about that, like feel free to send me an email and we can support you in some way.
Okay, the second question is, should we click the button from Facebook always to share on Instagram?
Yeah, I love that Instagram and Facebook are connected both ways now. It used to be only Instagram to Facebook, but now you can do Facebook to Instagram. The only thing that I would be concerned of from sharing from Facebook to Instagram is there's not going to be any hashtags when you share it, because Facebook doesn't require hashtags. So I would just recommend going into Facebook and going into Instagram, sorry, and adding the hashtags and just making sure the formatting feels right. And if it doesn't, you can just make a quick edit. That's something that our team does for our clients, is like really making sure formatting is aligned, because sometimes there'll be a discrepancy and one of the platforms just won't pick up on it and it won't transfer over fully. So that's just my only suggestion when you are sharing from Facebook to Instagram, or vice versa from Instagram to Facebook. You just want to make sure it's optimized for that platform.
Okay, what is the speed 2x? I guess this is on the Reels.
Oh yeah, so it's on the Reels. So the speed 2x, it's interesting because when you're filming it, it actually slows down the sound. But then once which makes it really easy to lip sync and to match the voice, or like to match the talking with what's going on. But then once you hit play, it actually speeds up a little bit. So if you go to BNL Social on Instagram and go to some of the Reels that I'm in, you'll see that where the speed will just feel a little bit faster. And it does add an element of humor, which I enjoy, but it also makes my life so much easier because I only have to do it a few times, rather than before, when I didn't know about this hack, I was doing like 30 and I was like, I could not match the audio to save my life. So the 2 times hack was huge. Especially
Okay.
like humor.
Perfect. How do we find the best hashtag to use on Instagram, and how many hashtags should we use for each Instagram post?
Yeah, so you get up to 30 hashtags to use on Instagram. They won't let you use more than that. So between 20 to 30 is great. And usually I throw them in the comments below. If I'm using hashtags in my caption, I'll pretty much stick to my main ones. So hashtag BNL social, hashtag social media managers, hashtag BNL media consulting. Like I'll use mostly branded ones with a few like niche ones that are really important. I want people to remember, like, we're social media managers, like this is why you want me, want to hire us, kind of thing. And then everything else will just kind of be in the comments. My best suggestion to find the best hashtags is go look at your competitors and the ones that you really admire on social media and see what hashtag bundles they're leveraging and see if that aligns with you. There might be a few in there that don't make sense, whether it's location hashtags or something, and you can just sub those for ones that make sense for your location. But go see what the realtors that are doing really well on social media, go leverage their hashtags. They probably paid someone to go build a hashtag bundle for them, and then it's there, and they don't have to you don't have to reinvent the wheel if it's already out there. You can just adjust it to make it align with your goals. And the biggest one for me that stands out that will be different is just the location. So if you're a hashtag Toronto realtor, but you really like what these people are doing in Winnipeg, probably just get rid of the Winnipeg hashtags and just sub them for Toronto, and there will be the same.
Perfect. So one more, does each app like Facebook, IG, TikTok reach a specific audience? If so, can you explain the difference between like demographics and how to target the right audience, and how do we track the results of the post?
Yeah. So later.com does have a data tracking software attached to it. So they do, it's not super robust, but it is there. It'll show you your analytics for your pages, which is great. So at least you can see the arrows going up. Also, if you wanted another different platform, Agorapulse is the one that we use for data tracking, and it allows us to get more details. If you really are focused on the data, especially if you're running ads, it's a great way to see how the ads are performing and the engagement's going on that end. Just in case your ad specialist that's helping run it isn't sending you everything. And demographics wise, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, they're starting to blend. So it used to be like the young people are on Instagram, but that's not true anymore. It's like most people are on Instagram as much as Facebook. The most active demographic on Facebook is 45 plus, I would say. I would say the millennials are still on Facebook. We don't want to give it up. We love it. It brings us back to when we were in high school, and that's where all our high school friends are connected to. So there's definitely pieces of Facebook that I still love, but I do know I have Gen Zs on my team now, and they don't have one. And I'm like, what? How? But it's just not even like, it's just not even their thought process. Like they came into the world and into the digital world, and it was Snapchat. So they have Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, but they don't have Facebook. So it's a hard no for them. And so it's been really interesting to see that. So the most engaged people, 45 plus, are definitely on Facebook, maybe even 40 plus. I still, like, I was talking to my acupuncturist yesterday, and she told me how amazing mom groups are. And she's like, I couldn't live without my Facebook mom group. So there is still an active community on there. It's just a little bit different. Instagram, still, like, I would say probably it used to be 25 to 35, but I think it might be moving the dial a little bit to closer to 30 to 40 because it's the millennial wave that's getting older. That's still the most active on Instagram. It's a balance. It's both Facebook and Instagram are very gender neutral, as well as TikTok. All across the board are very gender neutral. There's a few other platforms that you'll see that are a little bit pushing towards, like Pinterest, for example, is very pushed towards the female demographic. Twitter is pushed towards the male demographic more. LinkedIn is starting to balance out as well. But you're still getting that millennial generation. So your first time home buyers are super active on Instagram, and they're connecting with their realtors through Instagram. They're connecting with their mortgage brokers through Instagram. They're doing it all. They're finding their home cleaners. They're finding their movers. They're doing absolutely everything through Instagram because it's the best place to get social proof. So if your target demographic is first time home buyers, that's where your potential leads are going to go first and check out your Instagram. They're gonna be like, all right, what's this person's Instagram? What are they up to? What are they doing? Whereas the older demographic will most likely go to the website and then click the Facebook. So it's very different in their buyer's journey. And then TikTok, it's just an enigma of a platform. It's growing like crazy. People are still not sure about it, but they are finding success, and they're having fun while they're doing it. And they aren't having to deal with these Facebook business manager like rules and things that Facebook likes to have. So for me, TikTok is still for small businesses and personal brands that their goal is local connection. I still don't know how well it's working, but it's getting there. I think it's where Instagram was 5 years ago. When I started Instagram, most business owners weren't even on Instagram yet. And so I think that's where TikTok is going, where people are starting to dabble in it, but not sure how it's going to work and what it's going to do, but also just want to throw things out there and see what happens. That demographic is very primarily 25 and under for creation, content creation, as well as engagement, but you are getting the older demographics slowly moving over, but it's just not, they're not as engaged. They're still spending more of their time on Facebook or Instagram.
Perfect. How do you choose the music for Instagram Reels, since some of them, they are copyrighted?
Yeah, so usually what I like to do is I'll find the trending audio through scrolling the feed. And usually if there is an audio that's trending, there'll be an original audio of that audio. And the original audio means someone has done the legwork of taking that copyright song, running it through TikTok and then saving it off TikTok and then posting it on Instagram for you. So you don't have to do that. And then you save the original audios. So if you're a business page, that is definitely the hack to get around it, is to search for the ones that say original audio on it rather than the title of the actual song. I hope that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Are the analytics boosted by Facebook with Boost?
Pardon? Say that one more time.
Are the analytics boosted by Facebook with Boost?
With like, okay, hold on. I'm gonna read that one more time. I think I need to, I'm a visual learner, so I just, are the analytics boosted by Facebook? Oh, with bots. Okay, yeah. I think Val, I might need a little more clarification on that question. And if you want to come off and let off mic and just ask that.
Yeah, I mean, this is something my son said, you know, you were looking at the numbers, right? And you're thinking, oh, great. But they have these little systems that they just kind of, oh, we're going through and we're hitting it with a bot, you know, the bots or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not getting a realistic.
It's like what's the word? Like it's kind of like false success.
Yeah, exactly.
So they want you to spend more because it's like, oh, it's doing well. But then you're like,
exactly. Yes. Yeah. So I'm worried about that. I mean, you know, that's, I guess, the reality. But do you have any stats on that? Do you know anything about it? Like what have you read up on?
Yeah. I mean, it just feels like there's so many things about it's in Facebook and it's in a few other platforms as well, where they're known for kind of adjusting things a little bit. I don't have any facts on it, most likely because if anything was posted about it, Facebook would get it shut down instantly. But yeah, it's like inflated stats, very common in many industries. It's definitely why with Facebook ads, especially now, a lot has changed with the ads manager and how ads are run and the rules. And there's a lot of Facebook accounts getting taken down for no reason. And there's, so I do always recommend, if you can, find someone that's an expert in Facebook ads, even if it's on a small scale where they run a small budget and a small retainer. It just allows that protection piece so that you definitely know what you're looking at and you're getting success there, because Facebook doesn't give refunds. So if you're running it and you're not quite sure, you're kind of seeing like the numbers look good, but you're still not getting the results, it's like Facebook will just take your money and be super happy with that. They make a lot of money every year with small businesses. And I do wish that there was more support on their end when it came to ads, because if ads don't run or if things go happen, you still don't have anyone to talk to. So I would say, yes, there is most likely some inflation there because there are bots on Facebook's platform, like fake accounts, and there are definitely fake accounts on Instagram. And we've also learned there's a bunch of fake accounts now on Twitter. So a lot of these, the only one that I'm not sure if there's fake accounts on right now is TikTok. And because just even looking at it, it doesn't feel like anything's really fake. It's really hard to be fake on that platform. But yeah, Val, I would definitely, if you're finding that you're spending and nothing's coming through, not even new page likes, or inquiries through the personal messages, I would definitely pause, readjust, reevaluate, and maybe get an audit from an ads expert, just to see where you can optimize and not get not have those bots coming through.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And I think this is the last one. Is Facebook business page necessary, or we just use our personal page to promote our business? And thank you.
Yeah, it's Facebook. It really depends on how you want to approach it. So with your personal page, you cannot get analytics. That's the one thing that's kind of a bummer. We have one client, he's a lawyer, and he wanted us to post on his personal page because he knew he had a lot of network people on there that would really like his content. So he was just like, let's just post on our personal. I don't mind. It's totally fine. And so we have helped him run his personal page because it just makes more sense from an engagement perspective. He already knows that he has a bunch of network. I think he's maxed out his 5,000 friends. Like, he adds everyone he meets, and he uses it as a business platform. He'll post about family stuff once in a while and it aligns really well and everything performs well, but it's really worked for him in that way. If you are someone that really loves boundaries and you want to keep professional and business separate, then that's when I would say definitely get a business page. Or if you have a plan to grow a team. So if you're wanting to just be a personal brand, like having your Facebook page, if you're okay with it, having your Facebook page as the place, then that's great, because then when you meet someone new, you can add them as a friend on Facebook and they're gonna see your content a lot easier than a business page. Business pages, it's a lot harder to get in front of people. Don't know why the algorithm does that, but it just makes it a little bit more challenging unless you boost it. So that's why I would definitely consider, that's the only reason why I would consider getting a business page. And I think that answers the question. Did I miss anything around that? I'm like, wait.
I think that's all. Thank you so much, Megan. For those who are on BC, if you want to add your name, the name of the board and your CREA ID, this webinar will come for PDP points. So you can add it on the chat. And if you have any question, you can send me through the email. So the webinar is over. I really appreciate your time for joining us today. And then, yes, I will be sending the reply, and then you can watch this video one more time, anytime, anywhere. Thank you so much, Megan, for joining us today. I really appreciate your help. I'm going to pass maybe your information. That's a lot of people asking for that. And then, yeah, thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, it was great to connect with all of you.